Alright, hello, it's me again. I've had a few people ask for a video on how gearing works in Blade and Soul Neo Classic, and I thought I'd do a pretty rough video basically showing how it works. Keep in mind this is the Chinese version, so things may stray from the global release, which we now have confirmation is actually going to be a thing after 4 months of waiting. So let's get into it. I might do some light editing on this, but otherwise I'm just sort of speaking. So gearing in Neo Classic is a lot different to how you're used to. If we press P here, you can see all the gear that I've got on right now. And the most sort of telling difference between the actual Classic of BNS is you've got your skills tied to your accessories. Now, you get different skills per accessory. So your earring equates to a set of skills, your ring equates to a set of skills, and your necklace equates to a set of skills. Exactly like all these down here, these are all the same. Your weapon does not. And I'll get into the Soul Badge and Mystic Badge later, but to make it clear, you can get a little look at what accessory changes what here. So for BM, we have ring will change breeze, pierce, block, stomp, and crash. These two completely useless. But through here, we can also see that you have a tier 1 skill and a tier 2 skill. If we look at something like this, we've got a tier 1 skill and a tier 3 skill. So, how does this work? And here we can see a tier 1, 2, and 3 here. So, when you get an accessory, it will have a style. Like you see here, Hongmen Style 1, Road to Swordsmanship. This is all English patch translated, so this might not be accurate. This means that every skill that is rolled on this accessory will be part of the spec 1, should we say. Which means you'll be getting the spec 1 here, spec 1 here, and spec 1 here. Which does actually become a little bit tricky to work with. If you're a BM, you can get deflect block if you're tier 1, but you won't be able to, let me find it, where is it? Is it tier 2? Oh, it's this one, okay. No, this one, sorry. This tier 3 block is your HM block. So you can't have deflect block and HM block on the same accessory. Which also means that if you wanted to have HM block and also have focus recovery LMB, this isn't possible because your LMB, the focus recovery LMB, is a tier 1 and your HM block is a tier 3. Which means a lot of classes have to work around this. It's not perfect, but for the most part, it's not ruining anything. I also want to jump in here, something I didn't say. You can mix and match specs as long as they're not on the same accessory. So your glove can be tier 3, but your ring can be tier 1. So you can create a lot of hybrid builds. I use a hybrid build. I use a lot of spec 1 and spec 3, sort of mixing those two together. Anyway, back to the video. Although, you do have to come to terms with things won't be as you like them to be. For example, Cyclone, a pretty important skill for BM because it's your main resist, if anything. This is resist Cyclone. This is a tier 1 skill, but by having a tier 1 skill, you're locked into Flock of Blades and Approach Days. You can't get CC extend with a tier 1 skill. So if you want resist Cyclone, you have to go Flock of Blades and you have to give up a CC extend, which is quite vital for BM to combo. And if you go tier 3, you're locked into Blade Ghoul. Now, that's a quick overview of it. There's a lot more to talk about. such as Rarity changes the amount of skills that your accessories can change. So where I'm on a purple accessory right now, I can get free oh, this is something that we come back to. We get free changes here. However, you can also, if I show you on the marketplace, you can get purple accessories. Let's find one that will only change one skill. If you get a purple accessory, it doesn't mean you will get free skill changes. It means you can get up to free skill changes. Whereas if you, and I'm not sure, oh, I do have one. If you have a blue accessory here, you can get up to 2 skill changes. But as you can see with this other one, you can also get 1. How does gearing actually work? Unlike old BNS, you don't really upgrade anything. If I go here, manage my equipment, you have preview and augment for your weapon. You can put a psych on your weapon, and that's about it. You no longer upgrade any of your accessories. When you get your accessory, it is static. The only thing you're changing is adding a psych to it. So how does this work? For a weapon, you would, let's go into here and I'll show you the dungeons. So now that we're in the cross-server dungeon lobby, I can show you how these things work. Your weapon, you can primarily get from Poharan. You'll normally get it from this dungeon, as you can see here. This one drops your weapon. And then this is assuming that we get base 45 patch when it comes to EU. You would get your soul shields from Brightstone Ruins. And then you get your accessories from Dokumo, Ogong, or Hogdonny. That's his name, right? They all drop different things, such as Dokumo drops bracelet and belt. Ogong drops glove and belt. And Hogdonny drops glove and bracelet. There are other ways of getting these, such as, and I will be making a written guide which will show you how useful this is. If you go to BG, you can find all these certificates. Now, this certificate turns into a siren weapon. This turns into siren accessories. This also turns into siren accessories. And this one is Bloodshade Harbor soul shields. Now, if you have one of these certificates, I have a few right now which I'm not using, and I won't use because gold's kind of hard to come by. If you go here, you get a whole list of all these different things, all these different boxes that you can get. Now that I have a blue certificate, I can make a siren weapon. By transmuting this, I will definitely get my class's weapon. There is no sort of randomness in here. You're not going to get a summoner weapon if you're a KFM or something like that. So this is a method of getting these weapons, but is not the only way. This is a legendary weapon. You can craft it through here with a legendary weapon certificate, which you would craft through Forge Keepers. And as you can see here, you also get the Siren Weapon Certificate as well. But if you go all the way down here, brace yourself for this one. This is a legendary weapon certificate. Requires 10 of the Siren certificates, all these materials, and it's got a 5-day craft time. And after that, you can get this weapon. Now, and this one's a little bit insane. I'm not really sure why I'm going to talk about this one. In China, I'm not sure if we're going to get this on EU. We get a legendary weapon that goes a step further. And you have to be a complete tryhard to get this weapon. If I look someone up on the... Let's say him. Nope, hides his profile. This guy. This guy has the true legendary weapon. And you can get this by going to here. You need this, which is gained from salvaging these legendary weapons, as you can see here, this purple one there, you need 3 of these. So you need to salvage a load of these weapons. You also need... Where is it? 6 Asura Ember looking things. And these are obtained by doing Junghado. You need 50 of these tokens. You get about 21 per day if you're doing it for a daily quest. And you can only get 1 of these per week. So you have to consistently farm this for 6 weeks to get that weapon. Which is why I'm not even close. I don't care. But yeah, that was a little bit of a tangent. I will also now go into substats on accessories. So if you didn't think that rolling your skills was bad enough on your accessories, you also have to roll your substat. I currently have the perfect substats for everything. As you can see, crit damage here. That's quite a big stat that you want to be getting into. You want to be looking for around 2,000 critical, 2,000 piercing if you're doing PvP. Otherwise, completely disregard it. And then everything else should be going into your crit damage. So the perfect accessory will be the perfect skills that you want and the crit damage substat. You also have the crit damage substat on all these, but as you can see on these ones that I'm showing in comparison, they can roll a completely different substat. You've got HP regen, HP piercing, accuracy, all that in the mix. So getting the skill that you want generally is quite hard to come by. Especially with all the skills that you've got to get. You've got to get the substat and all that. It's not great. However, say you got this accessory, it's the right spec, so it's style 1, but let's say this wasn't stun on there, or maybe this was the wrong KD spec, or this wasn't daze. You can now go to your effect reroll, and you can re-roll any of these skills. And here's where it gets a little bit annoying, as if Neo wasn't already. You have these 3 choices here. You might notice that the one that I currently have is expanded scope weak. It also shows up here. You have a 1 in 3 chance of getting your preferred accessory. Well, no, not accessory. What am I saying? Skill. And the one included in there is the one that you've already got. For example, this belt that I have right now, I wanted damage enhancement on Blade Cool. This took me 10 rerolls to get this skill. And now, you need these little tokens to get that. How do we get these tokens? Weekly challenge. How many do you get per week? You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get 6 reroll tokens per week. So, they're not in abundance. Your rerolls have to matter. You have to look at what skill that you want on what accessory and plan accordingly, because you can get completely fucked over by bad RNG. As if you weren't already looking for a substat, you also have skill enhancement points. Welcome to China. Not many people care about these. As you can see, where it's grayed out, it has a skill enhancement point for something that I don't have. These are pretty negligible, but if you're some massive Leviathan whale that wants the most DPS they possibly can, you're going to have to look for crit damage, the right skills, and the right skill enhancement points. So it's RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG. Let's move on to soul badges and mystic badges. Right now, what I have is the best in slot tier of soul badge and the second to best in slot tier of mystic badge. Now, if you're used to retail on BNS, your first thought would be to think that Your soul badge is the utility badge, and your mystic badge is the damage badge. It is very, well, it's not very different, but they've swapped it around in Neo. So your soul badge is the one that makes you do more damage. For example, this one makes my lightning draw do 610% more damage. Meanwhile, my mystic badge lowers the cooldown of my lightning draw per hone slash during blade cool. I think. I haven't actually translated this could be wrong. So how do you go about getting your soul badge and mystic badge? So with soul badge, you can get that from salvaging outfits. Let me find a relevant outfit for this. You would, let's say, this outfit. From killing background mobs, you would get this outfit. And what this outfit drops is these purple tokens, which are 3 to 5 or so. And once you get 20 of them, I have 17 right now. You go all the way over here. You go to the banker, you shop, and 20 of these tokens will exchange for this red box. This red box will give you a random version of this. There is 2 soul badges per spec. So you have a 1 in 6 chance of getting the one that you want. And these tokens aren't easy to come by. I did say that you can just farm background mobs, but they're not common. This will maybe drop 1 in every 200 mobs, I would have to say. So you'd be farming a lot of these mobs. However, something like the... farming a soul badge would require you to salvage a lot of outfits. Get 20, go to this shop, exchange it for one of these boxes, and hope you get the right one. And now, with the Mystic badge, it's basically the same thing, except it's a little bit harder. You have to get an outfit, or, well, you complete weekly challenge, which will give you a few of these tokens, or you go into BG, you farm 9,000 points to get this outfit, which you'd buy, and then you salvage to get these card fragments. You can also do the same with the headdress, and then you could potentially get about 10 per week. To farm 1 go at your Mystic badge, it might take about 1 week, 1 to 2 weeks, depending on if you get lucky. So, it's a little bit of a grind. At least on China, you can just sort of, you can go into accessories, you can go there, you can buy whatever accessory you want. That's £26, by the way. Now, onto some systems that we, or at least I think we have on retail. I haven't played retail for long enough in the last recent years to know. You have the card collection. So, from doing bosses and whatnot, you get all these cards. These cards, they seem a bit unassuming, but this one in particular is going to rule your life. You are going to be seeing a lot of this boss. And if you think it's going to be, oh yeah, just a few hour grind, no, you are going to be here for weeks. I've not done them because I have some semblance of a social life. However, cards are very important. As you can see from the one at the top, they give a 20% critical damage modifier. So you want to be doing these. So like I said, these drop from bosses. They'll drop from these... where can I show you? Maybe one of them's in here. Please be in here for the sake of the video. Yeah, so you can get these boxes. They drop from your personal store and all this other stuff. You can get them all from there, but it's heavily RNG. It's very, very low drop rate from bosses, and you get modifiers such as like I showed, 20% crit damage, which I think is impossible right now. 5% crit rate. They have, when attacking, there is a certain probability that the next 3 attacks will be critical hit. Which is big. But you also get stuff like this, like I've got on right now. drain 80 blood when critical hit, which means basically lifesteal. Another one, I have the crit damage hit. And this one, I got very lucky with Tomb of Exiles. And from having this set, I get an increase of 17 attack power. Now, if I can find it, I will show you the card set that is going to rule your life. This one. This one gives you 32 attack power. I have one card. These other two cards are pretty much impossible to come by through natural means. You get these cards by doing Nayu Lab. I'm not really sure where to show you it right now. I haven't done it this week. Yeah, no, I haven't done it this week. But Nayu Lab on Neo is a dungeon that you can only do 3 times per week. These two cards, these two purple cards, drop from that dungeon. Now, remember what I said about these purple cards being a low drop rate? You could probably expect to see, like, maybe get one of these cards every 500 runs, I would have to guess. So just so we're clear on how rare these things are. Now, I'll show you why Kari is going to rule your life. You have this picture synthesis here. Certain combinations of cards can lead to a certain outcome. This Kari card is very important. Kari, which is a world boss, field boss, somewhere over here. You will sometimes get a Kari card. If I can find it again. Right here. I got lucky. I didn't do much of this because I'm not enough of a tryhard. But if you fuse 3 of these together, you get a chance. Remember, a chance of getting one of these two cards. One of these two purple cards. Which, even though it's going to take you hundreds of hours, potentially, is a lot quicker than trying to get this card drop from the 3 times per week dungeon. So, you may, and I have seen multiple of the Chinese people do this, you will be staying in this area for the best part of a month if you're really serious about getting these AP. I've seen people open thousands of boxes and not get a single one. So, this is the grind that's in store for you when it comes to global. But now we've gone over that, I will also show you this last little bit. When you complete a card set, you do get a reward, such as 50 gold from completing this one. You get 400 from completing this one. They all give you some little thing. A lot of them aren't important. Now, you might look through my gear and notice something. I have gem slots here, but I have no gems. What's going on here? And I can explain this with these boxes that I don't use because they're not exactly all that important. If I go here, just for the sake of the video and because I don't use these much, I'll show you. If I open, let's say 5. You get what's called mantra beads. And these are the new gems for Neo. If you look through here, 5 concentration, a stat that we've not had before. 0.2% of your piercing. Block ratio 0.5%. Evasion 0.4%. And 2 damage reductions. Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, these stats are terrible. What's the point? And I can show you what the point is. I haven't infused any of them because, again, they're not that crazy. They don't mean too much. But when you equip certain mantra beads together, they give you an additional effect. Unfortunately, pretty much all of this hasn't been translated. But the important one that I can show you is this one. I know it might look like a jumble of Chinese to you guys. It's still a jumble of Chinese to me. But I know what this one means. This mantra bead setup, and from what I understand, it has to be in this order, means that when your target is bleeding, you will do 15% extra damage, or additional damage, should I say, with every hit that you take. Which is big for PvE, or, well, anything for that matter. 15% is nothing to scoff at, especially when it's constant. So, this is what's replacing gems. Now, what I've shown you is the green version, so the stats aren't that great. But to show you that the stats on them aren't really what they're going for, I can show you the legendary ones off of the marketplace. So if we go to gem, it's even under the gem section. Truth potion, I'm not sure why it's called a truth potion. When you get into the legendary territory, you get different effects such as 20 threat, decreased duration of status effects by 0.8%, 30 recovery, or you get 200 HP, increased duration of all these still, you know, even at the higher tiers, they're not that crazy. Again, it is the effect that they give you that you're looking for rather than the stats that they give you. And yeah, there's probably a complete gold mine in here somewhere of some really overpowered stat that you want or not. I don't know them. So yeah. Okay, so different day that I'm recording this, because I completely forgot about this system. But we also have Insignia, which you're probably familiar with from retail. If you're familiar with it from retail, then you know how this works. But on Neo, you can get insignias from multiple sources. You can also, excuse me while I click through everything. You can also get it from crafting, which is what I do on 2 characters every day. I get 12 of these. You make a load of these insignias, and from what I understand, pretty much everyone goes for 4 attack power. You just roll a load of these, get all this junk, and then if you haven't got any specific ones you want to do, you just guild all of them. Hope that you get a higher tier and a higher tier that you want. If you have, let's say, and I do have these, we'll put 3 of these together, try to get a green version, which will give me more attack power. Knowing my luck, it's not going to be green. It is green, never mind. But yeah, so this one's fairly self-explanatory. At level 45, you get only these slots. This one sort of foreshadows that there will be a level 60. But yeah, so you also have these special insignias. Something that you can get with special insignias is dungeon-specific ones. They give you certain effects dependent on what you do in the dungeon. Like this one, for example, I think it's if you kill a tiger in Pohran's dungeon, you get 450 AP for 30 seconds. So incredibly specific and probably not something that you're going to need. But here it is. And to finish off with, another thing that we have in terms of gear, well, not really gear, you have your exploration journal, which is, really, you don't have to pay anything for this. You just have to go around the map, explore stuff. You'll get these little icons. Let's see if I can find one. Here, this little lotus. This means that I've explored it, and I think I'm going to be quite... I don't think I'll be able to show you what it looks like when you've not got it, because I've done most of them. Yeah, all of mine are open. But yeah, so if you go to all these places, you'll get certain upgrades, such as like 12 evasion, 60 HP. This adds up. So you can see down here, from Moonwater, you can get 1.6k HP from completing all these. Obviously, if you go to Viridian Coast, it's only like 200 HP. But yeah, so this is to get you to explore around the map. It's fairly enjoyable little thing to do if you've not got anything that you know, you're just sort of chilling. You just want to do something that isn't too intensive. You can also find these fragments, They're dotted all around the map. These are the rarest ones. The green ones have like an 8-hour respawn time. Everything else has like 5 minutes, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. And when you redeem enough of these, you'll also get effects here. Like this is a lot of HP. Yeah, you can get these from everywhere. They all add up eventually, and they all give you a fair amount of HP, which is nothing to scoff at. HP is important, especially in BG. I've just been lazy and I haven't done them all. But yeah. And other than that, I think... Okay, I guess I can show you soul shields as well. Soul shields, unlike on retail, also have the opportunity to roll crit damage, which means that if you want to be a PvE tryhard, you need to get critical crit damage on every single one of your rolls. However, where I play PvP, I'm quite happy with getting piercing on these as well. So piercing crit, critical crit damage, or critical piercing, any of these sort of rolls are good for me. But if you are a PvE player, you want to be searching for critical crit damage on literally all of your shields. And yeah, that's basically it. I have most likely completely forgotten about something. Like I did now. This is a separate day. I've got a different outfit, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if I've forgotten something and someone else knows of it, please just explain it in the comments or something, and I will... Yeah, I'll try to explain it. Maybe I'll do another video going over it. But yeah, this should be everything. And it might change on global release, who knows, but I thought I'd let you guys know. Some people have been asking, so here's a rough, long video of me just yapping non-stop for 30 odd minutes. If you've gotten through this video, congratulations, you're a stronger person than I am. Goodbye. I also wanted to add in that I do stream Neoclassic almost every day on Twitch, so if you're interested in seeing some gameplay before it comes out, you can check the description or the comments, and I will be linking my Twitch there. Thank you for watching, and if you do want more Neoclassic content, please subscribe, let me know in the comments, everything like that. But yeah, goodbye.